start off in domination. It is Hell's Heaven. It's TSM versus Yeah, We Lost. TSM, if you lose, you go home. Yeah, we lost. Can you fix the cracks? Here we go. Ship and Gas can take it away.
All right, buddy. They're already, or at least floating something different than we've seen today with the DD ban out off the rip, and that is going to go through and instead going to allow the Gambit lock potentially to be here.
Yeah, Gambit lock again, potentially, but I mean, the Daredevil is really what they were scared of because, I mean, with Jitwood, I mean, I guess he could be playing on the DD, but maybe you want to force him into Spider-Man because Spider-Man just isn't as meta, but we'll have to see whether they maybe switch things up as they go through. But with Elsa being protected, maybe we can see, oh yeah, it's going to be Mantis protected with the Elsa ban. That makes sense. I think that Mantis is actually incredible, and I think we heard in an interview yesterday how integral a part of the team Mantis can be if you can get her locked in.
Yeah, and I like this lock, honestly, from Yeah, We Lost. Like, I mentioned that they're a dive team, but they're honestly kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a rush snowball team where they just stay as a stack and run at you and try to get as many of you as possible, and Mantis is going to enable that even more, not only because the ult gives that overhealth, but just that damage boost in general. It just makes things like some of these more divey brawl heroes even more impactful. So that is a great lock there. The removal of Jeff and soon to be locked Jeff on the side of TSM is definitely, there to shake things up. And what do you know? Goodbye to Elsa and Loki.
Yeah, both of these teams have been very successful with Jeff in a trip strat composition, so I don't really blame them for getting rid of the Jeff on the other side. But I guess with Loki being removed on the side of TSM, maybe, yeah, We Lost can get Loki for themselves, and then they can just kind of copy any of those ultimates that are on the other side, and they'll feel a little bit more comfortable. A Star-Lord ban also kind of makes sense, especially with Mantis being in the equation. Star-Lord can be very oppressive to go up against, and there is that Loki lock that I was thinking might happen. And then one last ban then for TSM, and the real question is, what are they scared of? Maybe... Well, yeah, okay, Gambit. Yeah, makes sense. Finally, the Gambit ban comes through.
I was going to say, is there going to be a full no-play Gambit, no-ban Gambit for the first time in Ignite 2 history? But yeah, we're going to see that ban make it all the way to the very end there. And we're going to see the floated compositions. We will see Mantis on both sides. It looks like Gale is going to be on that Mantis, where Zatex will be on the Mantis for the side of Yeah, We Lost. BTS is floating, at least for now, the Psylocke. I think Psylocke, we may talk about mainstays heroes in the current meta. I think Psylocke is now officially one of those heroes that can hard carry lobbies. We've seen it in the past. We've seen it from Nectar. BTS is absolutely one of those players that can pick Psylocke and run a lobby. So we'll see who gets more value here in a moment. But I'm liking the composition off the rip.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of changes here and there as they have their discussions, have their talks about what they should be playing. I think this is going to be a very different matchup than what we just saw in match 1 of the day. We were discussing in the interview as well, you heard him talk about just having the dive versus dive, and do you try and run for trip strat? Do you play any dive characters as well? You can already see Mask going for a White Fox just to counter potentially any dive that's going to happen on the other side. But also the fact that we have 2 Mantis in the lobby means that this is going to be a very different game indeed, and expect to see some interesting styles of play coming forward.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as we see an early portal play. This is a TSM classic. Potential kidnap right now, or at least they just want to play aggro because they didn't set up with a penny, which is what they've known for in the past with some of those kidnap plays, sometimes using invis to pull into the mix as a portal gets matched right back here from the side of Yeah, We Lost at Kendrick, and it was just potentially an off-map solution, but does not seem to work. Good idea there as Kendrick now starts going right after the back line, able to find Pizza instantly. Are you kidding me, Kendrick? And make it 2. Falls off map, goes Gale. Oh, from the portal that was hiding on the staircase. Oh my goodness, Yeah, We Lost. We'll get point early.
And one thing I was saying about Yeah, We Lost yesterday was just how impressive they are at making other teams uncomfortable by playing things a little bit differently. I mean, look at Jitwood, for example, on the duelist pool. You don't really see much of that throughout MRI, whereas they just do things a little bit differently, catch you off guard, and at the moment, look at the sheer aggression. They are just jumping down the throats of TSM.
Jitwood pressing forward now. Xantho on the high side with Loki. Great positioning here as Guru gets the first pick onto Jitwood. Zatex finds Cal, and that's a strategist trade, which is very strong, especially because Cal's on that invis, which is going to be one of your mainstay strat heals right now. Zatex in a dangerous spot with great crystals, and that was forced out from the side of Xantho. Gale able to find Cart there, and looking for another here onto Kendrick. Gale on the Mantis now, looking incredibly strong. You don't need Gulk, I guess, when you can play Gantis. I don't know, as Mask now falls off to reset with the team.
Yeah, Cal and Gale, as the strategists, actually winning their individual fights at the moment. And I have mentioned a few times, if you're on a strategist, you need to be comfortable in those 1v1s when you are getting pushed and pressed by some of those vanguards or even duelists as well. And TSM will take the point now. And yeah, we lost. They're going to have to try and find a way back in. I do feel like, yeah, we lost kind of outplayed themselves there. They were trying to hunt down members of TSM and split and allow TSM just to find those early picks.
Yeah, I'm with you that the neutral picks there from the strategists were game-changing. I mean, multiple picks there from Gale. Cal able to come back after getting picked early and get a pick, and no BTS pulls out crystals, and that's all that he was looking for. Now has the Q available to dance with the butterfly. Gonna get matched right back by the Soul Resurgence, but it is going to be a moot point as another eye gets landed, and it's on Gale, who does fall. Kendrick, the nice pick there now, as yeah, we lost are up in numbers, but the percentage is heavily in TSM's favor with another massive eye coming through. This time, I believe, from the side of Guru.
Yeah, it was, but it's not going to work out. TSM still going to be on the back foot here, and they get absolutely slammed. Dr. Stranger removed from the lobby, and yeah, we lost. Should be able to take control of this point, which they will, but a lot of time and percentage gathered by TSM here, and they should just try and regroup a little bit, but look at the ultimate economy on the side of yeah, we lost. They have almost everything you could want, so TSM, when they do decide to push, yeah, we lost, are going to have plenty of answers here. It's just a matter of waiting, biding your time, and bringing out some of those ults as responses to what TSM offer.
Exactly. Yeah, the idea now is maybe to use Pizza, try to use that It's Jeff to pull out something from the side of yeah, we lost, because realistically, you just need to win one fight before the portal play comes through. So the idea now is to force out as much as possible. It's matched right back this time from Cal. Instead, going to answer that ultimate and give the opportunity again to Pizza to have something. Typically, you use that It's Jeff to counter a strategy assault when they're stacking heavy, especially on something like Soul Resurgence where they're forced to be on top. Out goes the Fox now. And that from the Kimono Unleashed doesn't seem to be getting too much value, but Xantho finds Pizza, who does use that It's Jeff. We see Mask now onto Gilbert, Cal onto Jitward, but the numbers heavily on the favor of yeah, we lost. And Guru seems like he might be setting up Portal here in a moment for the retake.
Yeah, TSM just having to back off and going to have to try and go for a portal play to try and get behind enemy lines. This push through this choke is not working at the moment. But as I say that, they're just kind of still there. They're hovering. And yeah, we lost are going to take advantage of it by just getting aggressive, getting in the face of TSM right now, which denies any chance of a portal and is slowly but surely ticking time in their favor as Guru gets his face ripped off.
Oh, I mean, this is just disgusting play here from Yeah, we lost. That was gross from Cart, followed up by a huge ultimate from Kendrick to answer the Soul Resurgence from Gale. And that was just clinical finish there from Yeah, we lost, who struggled in that mid game.
Struggled in the mid game, but once they had control and once they were able to just apply that pressure, that's when they looked most comfortable, fearless, and looking more like themselves after an off week against SSG. But as I said, I think it was a little bit of lesson learned for them. Just having that lesson is very important for moving forward as a team and learning more, because coming through from MRC, there was always going to be those eyes on you of, oh, well, you're the new blood to the group. Are you going to be able to perform? We'll watch you. We'll try and counter you. But now, yeah, we lost. Look like they have found their footing once more here. And especially having the Mantis available to them, just being able to give that extra little bit of a damage buff where they need it, in particular to Jitward, who we know how impressive Jitward can be when he's playing at his very best as well. So they're looking good right now. What do TSM have as an answer?
Yeah, having that Dance of the Butterfly up and available early is huge, but again, those crystals will be available for Xantho, who is without a doubt noting and have been tracking that ult charge and is just waiting to try to counteract that ultimate. So it's all about forcing that out as soon as possible. The portal play comes through and they're going to walk in trying to counter portal, but at this point they're already on point. Not sure it's going to get too much value, but we'll find out in a moment. Trying to isolate here the strat line, not a bad play. Trying to off-map them, and they do not fall off, but a great idea here from Kendrick, who's going to jump through the other side just to get back into the back line. Smart play here from Kendrick on that Strange, and I think Strange portals as a whole have kind of taken a step back, but love to see them come back into the fold. Pizza able to find Mask here. Bad time story with that ultimate takes out Zatex. Guru with the eye, is it big? It is, and Xantho's now in danger, holding on with 1 HP and a dream, resetting with a team, and I do think TSM wins this, but they're already bouncing back. Yes, BTS is going to find Jitward. Jitward takes out Gale, though, prior. Xantho in a dangerous spot, but is able to escape in the moment, and the point will be owned by TSM.
3 ults used, though, from TSM. Don't know if they needed the invisible boundary to follow up there. They probably could have saved that one. They already had such an advantage in the engagement that, yeah, we lost. We're kind of backing off and conceding. And now Cal's going to have to regenerate that ultimate for a fight a little bit later on. Only Gilbert's going to have an ult available on the Venom. That being said, yeah, we lost don't have any ultimates at the moment as well, so they also need to go for a little bit of a poke battle here to try and get some ult generation of their own. Zatex is going to be the closest on Mantis, and as I say that, Jeff's just got his ultimate as well. It's Jeff could potentially be popped to throw some people off the map.
Yeah, you can see on the top side, Gilbert and Bedtime holding that height, was ready to re-engage, but great tracking there, and they're walking in heavy using that resurgence from Zatex. Is there going to be an answer? Pizza goes under. Will the It's Jeff get value off the sleep? Zatex is looking for that Jeff now, and goodbye Pizza. It's just so difficult to get value in a brawl composition like this. Cal, 1 HP, but still able to hold on. You see the Unleash come through from Fox. Gilbert able to take out Kendrick, though, in the mayhem, and they're just stalling for as long as possible here. TSM at 52%, but the switch will come through in a moment.
I mean, Kart is just disgusting on Hulk as well, getting in the face of TSM, and they just have no real answer. You can see that they tried as they might to defend those strategists, but Kart was just on a mission and now has ultimate available as well to be even more of a nuisance here. Will Yeah We Lost do similar to what they've done in the previous and continue to force them back in this choke here and maybe try and force a portal out of them off the next play?
Eckhart takes the pressure, moves forward, and is going to commit now as we see Savage Hulk making some serious ideas. Can they off-map in that moment? Still dancing around, a ton of HP, and just kind of forcing these strategists to stare at each other, and that is value as the ticker is at 32% and climbing. Wow, Cart almost got away from that, but they do find and do follow up, onto Cart, putting them up a number currently. A huge eye of Agamotto from Guru, able to take out Xantho. And another now on Zatex, in the retake potential is very much alive here for TSM, as they will get the point back.
Impressive hold from TSM just from the push that we saw from Kart. And then if one strategist had gone down there, then they might have just found themselves getting sent back to respawn and allowing so much time to go in favor of Yeah We Lost. But they knew exactly what was going to happen when they saw Hulk jumping on in. They prepared for it, and they have now succeeded in not only surviving, but then retaking that point. Again, Eye of Agamotto was absolutely a massive win for them, have been timed perfectly by Guru thus far. And now they just need to kind of defend one more push here to try and tie us up.
Yeah, ult advantage going to be slightly in the favor of TSM. Keep your eyes on Gilbert in Pizza in this next fight. Got to get some value on this It's Jeff, which hasn't seemed to land too frequently, and immediately goes under right now. Pizza heading towards the back line, potentially. We see another pick coming from Gale onto Jitward from downtown. What a throw there. Some good tracking as Kendrick is able to turn that around on Cal. But all that matters right now for TSM is that 99 number, and that's exactly where they are. They heard the It's Jeff get committed, and they just walked towards the back line, knowing that the idea from Jeff was likely to go trade back lines, and it looks like instead it went in the favor of Yeah We Lost. Jitward making that switch on a Spider-Man.
Here we go. This is a prime Jitward now, ready to see what he can do onto the Spidey, which he has been so known for. Can you actually make a difference and try and destroy that backline whilst Yeah We Lost now hold? A lot of it came down from Kendrick. I'm going to be honest, on the Strangers looked very impressive indeed, knowing exactly when to push in onto those strategists. Speaking of, Bedtime Story does notice Spidey's come out and Jitward not quite able to get the conversion, and it's going to have to back off now as TSM start to press onto this point, and they get the opener from Guru.
Wow, that is huge with the two-piece there. They needed to press fast before Fox got on. They did just that, but now Mass is going to start off with the ultimate. The Fox is unleashed. Will they be able to find value? They do. Cal with some good tracking, pushing Jitward away. Another pick comes in as Jitward falls to Pizza. Gilbert onto Xantho. The stall is at least being held for the moment as the portal comes through. They're going to have to take out Card here to push it to the next map, and it looks like they will. Back to the portal now for the moment as BTS tries to clean up this KO. Oh, Card with some insane movement there is able to get that health pack and does fall finally to BTS. Commitment on point from Cal. The Eye of Agamotto gets canceled there, so they will not get value off it. Guru onto Zatex, and it seems like a matter of time now, but Kendrick starts off the It's Jeff lands, but that grabs a bunch of teammates at the moment. Getting off map now. Again, these teams are duking it out, and it looks like Jitward is on top as Gilbert gets the next bit. Jitward onto Cal, Guru onto Kendrick. The number's still up here for TSM, and it looks like they could win this right now.
Surely, finally, they've done enough. Forcing Cart away, has to jump onto the point. Someone's got to go for a touch, and they will, but then they get pushed off. But now they've got to touch again, but again, just been removed. Gilbert gets the final hit, and we're tied up 1-1. So impressed with how TSM have just responded to that one. They were not bullied as much as they were in the previous round. They had answers. They were happy to change on their heroes as well. And yeah, we lost. They just couldn't find a comfortable spot for themselves. Jitward constantly changing back and forth, didn't have the success on the Spider-Man that perhaps that he was looking for. And even though with Kendrick's impressive strange work, still wasn't enough for them to try and hold on to that point.
Yeah, the pressure from Gilbert Noodle has been looking really, really strong. Finding a lot of those neutral picks, getting 6 finals. And folks, note, last stats screen we saw, the max scales was 2, and that was from Gale in terms of finals. So the team is definitely locking in here, taking that first loss personally. Yeah, we lost, though. Needs to bounce back heavy and get back to where they're comfortable. It looks like they had some really strong attacks, but struggled a bit after losing 1 and not just stalling the point for as long as possible, whereas TSM was able to do just that as we start off on our final map of domination.
Well, we've wanted some closer games, especially after yesterday where it was just duos almost across the board. But knowing that both these teams, whoever wins goes through. It's as simple as that. If you lose, sure, you still will have a second chance, but right now it's about just trying to put destiny in your own hands and get the job done right here, right now, and both are fighting tooth and nail for it. In terms of
huge opportunity,
he's got Vagamoto yet again here.
Yeah, exactly. Huge opportunity was available. Gale goes down early to Kendrick, though. His ult's got to be committed before they get answers. Bedtime able to find Kendrick. Xantho onto Pizza. The number's still up for Yeah We Lost. There's that eye. Does it land? It does not. Gilbert holding on as Cal from downtown able to find Jitward and keep the team healthy with some insane positioning. Now back on to Gilbert. Just playing on this health pack. Disgusting positioning here by Cal. Playing off some of those cooldowns while the Vanguard try to peel, but it's going to be difficult as Cart is in your face. Zatex finds Cal. Cal goes down. Cart goes back into Bruce form. Zatex tries to find more, but Guru is going to clean up Bruce now. The point is being held by Yeah We Lost, 12% and climbing.
Gilbert just trying to dive yet again and see if he can find anything, but at the moment just has to back off. Cart is going to be able to get back into Hulk form now. Zatex also going to pop the Mantis ultimate to try and give a little bit of coverage and space for this team. Jitwood's going to open up. Demon goes down as well, and that's 3 now fallen for TSM, and they're going to have to back off. This is going to be a wipe unless they don't retreat, but it looks like they are going to retreat. So Yeah We Lost. We'll be able to take and continue this scoring on the point.
That was genius, using the bounce there to find Cal around cover when he had nobody else up, and a massive stagger there as Cal is still waiting on that spawn. Incredible work here by Yeah We Lost, who were maybe Bruce Banner in the last match, but they're definitely the Hulk right now. Gonna have ult advantage too in this next fight. Cal, Pizza, and Guru now will have ults to try to even those numbers in a moment. So it looks like it's anyone's fight here. It's all about who gets more values with these Qs.
Battle of the big boys happening on the point. Elsewhere, it's going to be battle of the backlines happening as Cal is going to be able to take down onto Kendrick as well. Xantho falling means Yeah We Lost are going to be at 6s and 7s here. Do you even try and save anything with ultimates? The answer's probably no. You just back off and give this one up. Save the ultimates for the next push. You've already got 70%. As I say that, though, Cart says, You know what? Mask, let's work together. Maybe we can do something with these ults.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, the portal does come through, so that's the commitment, and that's why you try to keep Strange available with a huge opportunity. The eye is massive here from Kendrick. Match right back with the boundary, though. Team stays healthy. What a stall right there, using the Fox and Hulk to stay on point as the portal comes through. 90% and climbing here for Yeah We Lost. A ton of ults getting committed. Pizza goes under with... time finds Jitward Xantho onto Guru. Pizza tries, but to no avail, and the numbers are ticking down. It is going to be a tough position here for TSM as the portal will have to come through from Guru.
Portal surely has to come through, but at the moment they are stalling well enough. But we saw pretty much 9 ultimates used, I think. Finally, we're going to see Cart get back onto Hulk as well and get the ultimate Hulk just in the face as Zatex takes down Gale and Mantis on Mantis action. Yeah, we lost controlling over time here, but TSM still desperately trying to cling on to this one. But is it going to be enough here?
Jitward coming back in and finding Pizza. Guru goes down too, and I think the writing is on the wall here. Yes, it is. Yeah, we lost. Coming back with a vengeance after map 2 and take this Dom home.
I mean, I'm so impressed with their commitment towards ultimates. Yeah, we lost, recognizing they had the portal. They just delayed enough. And then the ultimate coming out from Hulk and White Fox at the same time, because not only does it apply pressure from Hulk, but also the fact that White Fox is then going to be healing at the same time, just the perfect way to stall, really, for the rest of the team. And then it was just an absolute manic fray of ultimates over and over again from both squads. And in the end, yeah, we lost, just able to out-heal TSM to take our first map here on domination.
Yeah, I mean, such a beautiful synergy and combination on that hold from the side of Cart and Mask. So the idea was Mask goes into Fox form there, gives Cart CC immunity on hold to just try to stall and try to do whatever you can for the moment while Kendrick sets up Portal on the retake. And that is why having Strange available for Portal is always incredibly impactful, especially when your strategists have ults available. Shout out there to Yeah We Lost on that map 3. It was beautiful to watch.
Absolutely incredible on the side of Yeah We Lost. And I think that's going to give them such a confidence booster as well going into these next ones, especially after losing to SSG in yesterday's matches where they probably felt a little bit deflated. But Yeah We Lost will find their victory here on Domination. And I think you guys probably need a breather after that one, so you will take it. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll see map number 2 of Yeah We Lost versus TSM.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back after that chaotic match. And how perfect was it that Jitward he's our Deadpool player, and that full match felt like it, a battle of momentum that built up a little slow as we saw Jitward go online with the Deadpool, and just the trades that happened. So much to break down if you're just now coming in. Ship, want to go to you first about the Vanguards. I think whoever had the better Strange on the map got the W, and obviously Kendrick was an animal. We'll get to his fat Agamotto later. But Guru stepped up match 2, really did a good job kind of being that calm in the storm, I felt like, in a lot of it. Break them down and what you saw.
Yeah, I'll say first, both these teams are really bringing back Portal ingenuity and trying to do some crazy stuff with portals, which I love to see. We got to see some very strong neutral play from both. Granted, there was an invis from the side of Cal that there was not an advantage out for Kendrick. So, Guru did have that pull-in, which does help Strange a lot, so had some big value from that. Looked really good on the hero. Got 9 finals. And then on the opposition, Kendrick, who was playing really smart with those portals as well. 23k damage, looked very solid, and had that massive eye at the end. And not only the eye was huge, the portal play was massive. The communication to the team to say, stall with whatever you can. We will be back as a unit. They all get back on point. And from that play alone with that eye, it was curtains.
Dude, bro is Dr. Steven. I mean, did you see him go under the portal into it with the float off the edge?
I loved
that just
it.
Gave me, like, man, that held my breath for a second. Gaskin, want to talk about the Mantis, because both these teams had that as their game plan going in, right? Obviously, a compliment to Jit. We're getting the Daredevil ban against him first, but Mantis was the core identity. I mean, Shib dropping the Gantus is the best way to say it. I'm shocked that Car wasn't matched Hulk to Hulk. We hear about the Gulk, but this time it was Zatex coming on top with 10 finals as a Mantis. Insane.
You can have so much fun on a Mantis, and really some strategists really shine when Mantis is let through, and that's the reason why sometimes you shouldn't let Mantis go through, because even though Gale did a good job on the other side, but I'm very impressed with Zatex. 10 final hits. You saw a few times the Strangers were getting aggressive onto the strategists, but they had to defend themselves, and to be fair to both Mantises, they were doing well at winning their 1v1s and keeping things alive for their team, but it was Zatex who won things out in the end. But I love you mentioned Cart as well on the Hulk, just unbelievable aggression at times. I was very impressed.
Yeah, we oftentimes see these teams kind of overcommit to try to keep that stall on. I don't think we've seen a more perfect stall to have that happen. I mean, Hulk is obviously a good vehicle to get the engine rolling. No one was expecting the Agamotto. It's a little bit of ult tracking in that, right? I think they knew the portal might come. You got to expect the 5-piece coming with it. A couple other shout outs I want to do. I think Cal, I've been watching him as a player go from duelist into strategist. Kind of felt like Ship, we had the duologist come. In that mixed degree, the guy popped off, did pretty well.
Yeah, Cal played lights out. I don't think there's anything else we really need to mention about it. I mean, his positioning was great. A ton of final 6, one of the most in the his entire team, and that's on Invis, who does a great job of dealing damage. But yeah, looked absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so guys, we've got the matchup number 2 underway right now. Will they rely on bedtime stories on the side lock, or will we get a different look from Gale and TSM? It is 0-1. Winners looking a lot more comfortable. Here we go, guys. Let's get it underway in Central Park.
Oh, and my friend, another DD Gambit double back and forth off the rip. It doesn't look like anything's going to change just yet.
Yeah, I mean, the Daredevil ban is a very targeted one against we lost, because we've not really seen TSM ban Daredevil previously in any of their other matches. They've typically been going for getting rid of Gambit themselves. When it comes to their protects, the real question is, do you get Mantis again? And the answer is going to be yes. So we're going to see Mantis on both sides. And I do think we are starting to see teams now wondering whether Mantis can do more damage than a Gambit, because Gambit now sliding through every now and then to the later side of the bans means that people feel like Mantis perhaps is just that little bit more of an addition to the squad.
Absolutely. I also, just piggybacking off that, the Mantis damage boost, right? It does just help with some of these compositions that are like, you just become more threatening. It enables new breakpoints. We hear a lot of why Cap is getting more play, and we're seeing some success with some top caps at this top level. Why he's more threatening, and that's because he got a little bit more damage on his neutral punches before the shield throws. So that little bit of damage has allowed him to have breakpoints anytime he wants. And those small changes now happen when you have a Mantis across the entire roster. So it changes the way everyone can play the game, and it helps enable your duelist, and that's why we saw some success with Psylocke, even through the Loki pick, as we see the ban out of Loki once more.
Now Loki gets taken away, but of course on the other side, the Ultron is going to be just protected on this side. Now we lost. I mean, what do they try and protect it with? They like Invisible Woman again, potentially for them? No, they're going to protect Hulk. They feel like maybe Hulk has been so oppressive at the moment that TSM could potentially try and target ban there. But that will allow TSM, of course, to get rid of Gambit in the final moment, as they had done previously. But yeah, we lost. Just defending Cart every single opportunity they can.
Yeah, we did see a ton of pressure there from Card, and we saw how long he was able to just duel with the 3 back line and just stay healthy while just dismantling them. Granted, they did a great job patty kicking and staying healthy, but just so difficult to look forward when you have a Hulk just punching you for days, as we see the floating compositions now. And I think we might see things change in a moment, but it is going to be Central Park Convergence, TSM on D.
It is TSM's pick as well. They have played Central Park Convergence twice already this season. They're 1-1 at the moment in preseason, but we've not seen we lost play it. So TSM clearly feel like they're pretty well practiced, and maybe they've got a trick under their sleeves, or up their sleeves, should I say, against we lost here. And they need it. Otherwise, they can find themselves 2-0 down, and then needing to go into tomorrow's matchup against Nightmare and winning it. And remember, Nightmare, their backs are against the wall. They're in a must-win matchup against TSM when they play them as well. So you don't really want to leave it down to the last day to try and progress through to playoffs, that's for sure. So we need to see TSM finding a little bit of something different here in Convergence.
Yeah, we can see a change in composition, something more front to back, and they are going to put Cal on that Ultron. Cal has had a ton of success in the past on things like Adam Warlock because, Cal's essentially a duelist transitioning over to the strategist role, has that aim, has that focus, really good aimer, so that is a hero that benefits from that. We can see Gale on the high side here, going to start the damage boost on a BTS, and let the games begin, folks. Yeah, we lost on attack.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on Gale versus Zatex yet again, because as we mentioned, Zatex just kind of had the upper hand when it came to the Mantis play. Also, there's very different areas, but speaking of mirror matchups, it's Guru who gets the initial KO onto Kendrick in a little bit of portal action.
I believe it was a counter portal under his feet or through his body, jumped right through it, and whether it was by accident, because likely it was under, it causes the mayhem, gets the pick and shuts down the portal coming from Kendrick. Guru with an insane counter portal right there. We'll buy them a few seconds on this first fight. Jitward goes down here for BTS. BTS now, shifting backwards. The whole team is pressed forward, but they're down numbers. They got to clean this up as Cal does just that. And yeah, we lost is going to have to regroup here.
Bedtime Story on the Phoenix is going to be a fun one to watch as well. So yeah, we lost. Need to be careful that they don't group together and allow that AoE damage to just absolutely punish them. Gilbert takes down Xantho as well. And now we're going to see Captain America start to dominate. As really, if you have got a good Captain America player on your team, it just creates so much space for the rest of the squad. Especially like for Bedtime Story, for example. If you can fly up in the air whilst Cap is distracting, you're going to do so much damage to the team.
Could not agree more. Cap is known for just surviving, very similar to something like Fist, who obviously does a great job burning down Vanguards. Cap also does a great job burning down the strat line with the new damage increase. Jitward trying to dive towards the back line in a dangerous position. The stun comes through, but Cart is going to clap and find a two-piece out of BTS and Gale, and that is a huge start here for Yeah We Lost on their second take. 2 minutes and 25 on, and a tick will begin. The portal play is going to need to come through, but I'm not sure Guru has it after that early cancel.
I'm not sure there's going to be time as well. 4 seconds until, yeah, I think that this is going to be a comfortable take for Yeah We Lost. And TSM just going to back off, give it up, and Yeah We Lost get their first point and now start to push their advantage here. A little bit of pressure they're going to apply as they wait for that convoy to join them. And Guru is now going to be the first point of contact, of course. I've really enjoyed the kind of mirror match between the Strangers and the Mantis, indeed. It really has changed the dynamic of this game.
And we can see now, defense begins. Mass trying to play a little more aggro. The idea here, and last time we saw TSM hold this card on the front line for a significant portion of the match after losing the first point quickly. That's the exact situation, but this time, Yeah We Lost us not up in here with heavy ult advantage. Cart gonna run down as many as possible. 1 falls, and we're gonna see 5 available ultimates here for Yeah We Lost, and almost 5 for TSM, but the question is, who gets those initial picks? Because that's gonna set the tone. Up goes the end song. It lands, does not seem to get as much value. Cal able to find Zatex. A huge eye again from Kendrick. Does anyone go down? No, they do not. Guru trying to find a reverse eye, but that one does not seem to get as much value as nobody has gone down just yet for these ultimates.
Yeah, TSM did well. I think one member of Yeah We Lost fell, and TSM now have the advantage and are able to push Yeah We Lost back. Even though Yeah We Lost initially had the extra player when they were pushing, they were hesitant to ult first. Because they had the extra player, they were like, we could probably win this fight and continue to push without it. But TSM were the first ones to pop their ults, and now it means for this next fight, Yeah We Lost have far more to work with, and perhaps that was their game plan all along, just to allow TSM to burn through some of theirs.
And we see some commitment now. The spin comes in from Peter, who just gets destroyed by Pizza. Goodbye to Jitward. Pizza now looking on the high side towards Cal. A lot of pressure here from Kendrick. Back and forth go the strategist. Card able to take out Gale. Cal falls to Kendrick. And once again, Yeah We Lost her up in numbers. They do a great job in the chaos, and there has been plenty of chaos as Guru gets off map. And a second pick coming into Gilbert in a moment. What insane movement, but at this point has already been taken.
Frustration on the side of Jitward, I think, of how did he not get that KO, but it doesn't matter. As you say, they get the second point, and Jitward, you got to give credit where credit's due. Just sticking with the Spider-Man, sticking with what works for him as well. And even though sometimes you see the Spider-Man go down and you're like, well, he hasn't really done anything. Well, he's done a big distraction technique and also damage on the side of TSM, because off the back of it, Yeah We Lost were able to convert a lot of those KOs thanks to the damage that was done. And now, Yeah We Lost continuing to push this Cart, and TSM, they're going to look towards maybe Cal with the Rage of Ultron to try and give them a little bit of something in this fight.
Yeah, and that is definitely going to be the initiation, but Cal's taking so much damage. Good movement there. They head towards the back line and reset as a unit, and there's that Rage that we're discussing. Cart's in a dangerous spot. Good positioning now, but not able to see much else. looking for anyone to get value on, and BTS going to clean up Jitward. Good shots there by Cal to find a ton of damage, as BTS now is looking towards the Fox, and the Fox can't say much when it's on the KO feed as the team retakes once more.
Nice damage coming out, but again, they're just deflecting at the moment and backing off. No one really overcommitting. Ayavagamoto is going to be available on both sides, and we've seen how impactful they can be on both of them as well. Kendrick and Guru have been so impressive on the Strange, but who's going to blink first? That's the real question.
And here goes the commitment from Cart, matched right back with a dance of the butterflies. Mask goes down, BTS finds one. Zatex going to take out another. At this point, just trying to find a way through that invisible shield that is holding on the back. What a pull there, and the chase from Xantho almost takes BTS out. Can he escape the chaos? And it looks like he was able to. Not for long, though, as Xantho gets that pick. Forces out a long KO. Jitward now onto Cal. And yeah, we lost up in numbers heavy as the boundary comes through. Pizza Demon able to hold on with the team once more, but Kendrick has that eye available, waiting for the opportune moment. Till strategists overcommit. Out goes the Freedom Charge. Gale trying to take out Jitward and does that. What a shot there onto the dome with Jitward on that chase.
But Gale was distracted temporarily there, so wasn't able to heal the rest of the team. I had to focus elsewhere onto Jitward. There's the Eye of Agamotto that will come out, but now a response. An Eye of Agamotto of their own. Kendrick pops it, does get a little bit of tag, and there is going to be damage to follow up, but now Zatex, Kendrick, and Mask all fall. So yeah, we lost. Going to have to just back off at this one, and they're going to have to reassess how they want to push. It should be a full wipe. If not, it's just 5, but that's going to be more than enough for TSM to hold on, reset, and regather.
Yeah, I mean, that was beautiful play with Gale and Guru there, using the Soul Resurgence from Gale to keep the team healthy. Guru shields off the eye that comes in, and eyes after when the Fox is there to make sure the Fox doesn't get much value. Great trades there for TSM, but is it too little too late? A minute and 38 on, and the point is right at the end of point 3.
And even if, yeah, we lost, don't get all the way to point 3, I think they've got far enough that it's going to be difficult for TSM going into the next one. That being said, they would love to make it the 3 to put any extra pressure on, as Kendrick now, speaking of pressure, is under a lot of it at the moment, but is able to just back around the corner and reassess how they want to approach this one for yeah, we lost. They are gathering, and this is going to be one of their last attempts at a push. Of course, with 1 minute, they probably got 2 on the board, and Pizza Demon finding that opener means that suddenly, yeah, we lost it. Gonna have to utilize some ults, and Xantho will use that invisible boundary.
See now the movement, and the point is retaken here by TSM. Card going to start off with Savage Hulk trying to push into the backline, and the backline trying to dance with each other. Is it going to be enough to keep them healthy? Stalling the point for a moment as it is retaken completely by TSM, but Kendrick's able to find Gale. Out goes that dance of the Cutterfly. Goodbye to Pizza Demon from Jitward, who's trying to find Cal and might just do that in a moment. Yes, Jitward does with 1 HP in a dream. Guru trying to stall, but not for long, and that should do it for all 3 points here. Yeah, we lost. Gonna make this a forced overtime, if anything.
Yeah, we lost are just so fun to watch, aren't they? They do things a little bit differently, a little bit off meta at times, and I think that's what's so entertaining about them. Jitward refusing to go off of the Spider-Man, and for good reason, was able to find so much damage on the back line and also just be a nuisance and a distraction, a thorn in the side for TSM. And now we're going to need to see a response from TSM. They have to get all 3 points as well to take us into OT. Real question is, Shib, can they get there? Because at the moment, yeah, we lost have looked so good in their engagements.
I could not agree more. Yeah, we lost is definitely locked in. We saw some good fights from TSM, but it just seemed like in these neutral, in the downtime, you know, they just found a huge fight loss, and for some reason, the cart was just able to take so much free space. I would say the idea of yeah, we lost his comp here on attack is so threatening because they're constantly just steamrolling towards the back line, and they already guarantee space. What needs to happen is there needs to be someone who could potentially sneak point, try to bide more time for some of these lost fights so that they don't just lose in 1 or 2 after they've won a few of these downtime fights. Again, I think TSM can pull this off, but it's all about how this first fight opens up.
A lot of eyes on Bedtime Story on the Psylocke as well. Has had a little bit more support going into this one than the previous when they were running Loki, and there just wasn't really the support that they needed from those strategists. But Bedtime Story has been making it work, but sometimes coming up against a Zatex or a Xantho, for example, who have just been able to take them out on that backline. Now, Zatex is switching over to Phoenix for this defensive side on yeah, we lost, so we were interested to see how this one goes. Mask over to the Mantis now, and Jitward onto the Black Panther, baby. I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, Guru on the Vanpool, too, is another great decision, in my opinion. Does a great job, getting onto that backline, but also peeling. There's a lot of raw damage there as Jitward is able to find a two-piece here on the Panther. Now looks upward towards the sky, misses that spear, and is going to have to drop back with the team. But that is a huge start in momentum on the defense where, yeah, we lost.
Yeah, this could be a playground for Jitward if things go this way. If Yeah We Lost can control this lane and allow Jitward to continue to do this, just to pick, poke, and be that thorn, eventually does get shut down by Gale, but was the damage done? Because now initially they had that extra player. Bedtime Story is out of there, so the duelists are not going to be there for that fight from TSM, and instead, Yeah We Lost now are just going to be able to back off. Wait, Kendrick's under pressure though, just gets round the corner. It will allow TSM to step up.
Gilbert owning the space here on the high side, putting a lot of pressure. This should give some free space for the team to walk forward. Crystal's forced out as well. Is huge for TSM. Yeah, we lost it. We're making that switch over now to the Spider-Man. The aggression is still very much there on the Xantho, and that is going to be a pick as Gilbert cleans that up on the back of the ultimate there from Guru. And we will see another pick now from Cal onto Jitward. And this looks like it might go in favor of TSM after, yeah, we lost, looked so dominant in the first fight.
Car is still alive, could potentially jump onto stall here, but I think it's just being pushed back, not going to be able to even try and touch it. So that's good time from TSM, pretty similar to what we saw from Yeah We Lost, but now Yeah We Lost are looking to get aggressive, trying to utilize Jitward on that Spider-Man. Yet again, Bedtime Story, the first one to fall. It does seem like Jitward just has eyes for Bedtime at the moment, and he is reading him a good night story as Zatex also gets one onto Pizza Demon. Look at the ult economy on Yeah We Lost. I think TSM are going to be pretty scared to go into this next fight.
We can see now some, and by some, I mean every single ult here for Yeah We Lost available. Soul Resurgence gets committed, matching Bedtime Story there. Out goes the End Song Inferno from Zatex, but nobody goes down. And Psych I lied. Goodbye to Pizza in that moment as Cal starts off with the Rage of Ultron on the high side. Puts a lot of pressure on. BTS cleans up one, but no other value yet. Even trade so far, and now BTS goes down from Mask.
Bedtime Story, Guru gone. TSM having to back out slightly and just reset. And Yeah We Lost, its job done to keep them at bay and keep them in this lane is what is important. Because remember, Jitward is just having a field day as they're trying to approach from this spawn. Venomolt does come out to get the initial damage, but now is being absolutely pummeled by Kendrick alongside the rest of the squad. Yeah We Lost get that opener, and now they can push their advantage here against TSM, who have to bring out ultimates of their own on the strategist. Mantis was used. Now Pizza Demon going to get the dance floor. They are throwing everything at them.
Yeah, as Gale's able to take out Jitward, it's another trade. Ults get committed once more, this time from Kendrick. It does find some value through the dance floor, though it won't find too much. But their whole team is stacking so heavy on point here. TSM cannot break through it. Incredible play from Yeah We Lost. Losing that first point and just acting like they haven't. Playing directly on cart and winning consistently. Still up in ult advantage.
We are going to see changes now for TSM. Gilbert switching over to Thing. We've got Wolverine on the go as well. They're just trying to see if they can get aggressive and maybe pick someone out on this back line from this position. And we're going to see Vanpool start to lead the charge here from Guru. But are they actually going to get that opening pick? That's the real question, because at the moment, Yeah We Lost have been winning these initial engagements.
Jitward finding Bedtime. Another pick comes through from Mask and Cart. And the feed is just consistently red here. Cart commits that ultimate. And now Jitward and Zatex will have ults available, while Guru is the only one holding on to Q for this moment. It will apply pressure to the backline. The eyes are going to be on Mask, likely, but that ult will be available from Mask as well. That's Soul Resurgence to answer. We'll see now what ends up happening as the ult was committed, and there's that answer as discussed. Soul Resurgence. There goes the spin from the side of Jitward. It seems like Gale's the first to go down, and they're just trying to find a way through this. This is absolutely disrespectful here from Yeah We Lost, who have not stopped the pressure.
Yeah, we lost just kicking them whilst they're down at the moment, TSM, and it's constant hero changes trying to find an answer. Gilbert going to move over to Groot now as a last-ditch attempt to try and move over. I mean, they still have 1 minute 55, but remember, they have to get to the full 3 points here. Mash does get the opener onto Gilbert yet again, so it doesn't matter what hero you move to as a Vanguard, you are just getting focused down by a Yeah We Lost team who are ruthless with their aggression.
Ult advantage on the side of TSM here. This is their time as Jitward now goes down. TSM up a number for the first time in these early fights in quite some time. 1:30 on as an Eye of Agamotto comes through, using the end song in the sky to just negate that ultimate. Well played there. Tries to land towards Xantho, who's able to escape. More pressure gets put on. We see a pick coming through likely as Cart is able to retake onto Hulk in that last moment. And what do you know, goes right back to Banner, but it doesn't matter. It's a huge end song opportunity from Zatex, able to take out 2 at the spawn door. Guru finds Cart, but it will be off the back of the whole team going down. And Gilbert Noodle has the strangling prison, but is that going to be the answer with 58 seconds left?
Yeah, I think the writing might be on the wall here. It may have been on the wall for quite some time with how We Lost have been playing, and our impressive MRC team that has now come into MRI. They're back at their very best. It was a little bit of a blip against SSG, it would seem, but they are running riot here against TSM. Gilbert does get one onto Jitwood, though. Could this be the opener and their chance to finally gain control of this cart? Because they just haven't been able to touch it thus far.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. The communication here from We Lost has to be lights out. 2 ults available from TSM, but again, once they use those ultimates, they might be in trouble. BTS goes down after finding Zatex. Mask on a BTS, Kendrick on a Cal, and Jitward's already back fast as Guru takes out Cart, make it a 2-piece onto Kendrick. 12 seconds left on the point here. Still holding on to that strangling prison, but got to keep your eye out for the crystals as Gale's able to find one onto Jitward. Point with 3 seconds on, the touch needs to come through. It looks like the touch is there, but Guru's in a dangerous spot at about 17% HP. Now getting back up a little bit. Out goes the resurgence once more. And the strangling prison comes through, and that's going to be some big plays here, forcing out an ultimate, but also goes Kendrick again with a huge eye to find Gale. Are you kidding me?
Every single time Kendrick goes in with the Ayagamoto, he's always tagging multiple enemies, if not all of them at this point. We lost. Nothing to lose here. They've thrown all of the ultimates, and they are pushing TSM back slowly but surely, down to just 2. Make it Gale, the last remaining player.
Wow.
And overtime is done. TSM are done, and We Lost will not only win this one, but they will also solidify their spot in playoffs.
Oh my goodness. That was an insane thing to witness with a ton of time on being held right at the door there on point 2 is just a masterclass of communication, not overcommitting ultimates and making sure your team can stall while you reset again and somehow don't go down. I cannot believe what I just witnessed. Really well done by We Lost there to take home this series and make themselves known in the playoffs. Looking at these stats, buddy.
Yeah, stats are going to be impressive on the side of We Lost, to say the least, because it was very much a one-sided affair in that second one. And yeah, they are ugly numbers to look at if you are a fan of TSM, that's for sure. Cozy, I mean, we just got to see We Lost at their very best yet again here.
Oh my gosh, their name says one thing, but their gameplay says something completely different. I'm going to go out and say it. I think you guys, Kasky, you led to it. This is the most fun team to watch in this tournament. I mean, bar none. I mean, they play aggressive, loose. Obviously, yesterday, sometimes that can come back to bite them, but we kind of circled it. If you don't have an answer to calm the storm of chaos that's around you in Jitward, in what looks like everybody wanting a piece of the highlight reel, right? I mean, you can shout out anybody at this point. They're going to quickly win and make it look one-sided sometimes. And so it's been fun to watch this team, again, come from the MRC, but a lot of people look at us, some tier 2, if you will, looking dominant at this level of play. It's been fun to watch them.
I think there's some communication to mention, sometimes it's a joke when you say, I'll be back fast when you're on Spider-Man. And Jitward going down 13 times, but getting 15 finals, right? That's the value. Going in and fully committing onto whoever the target is, getting a pick or 2, falling back and being back before the spawn's even done for whoever the pick came through as. You got to show some love to this team that was not afraid to run some unorthodox stuff and constantly find value. Really well played.
Yeah, I think, honestly, you circled it best. We saw it some yesterday, obviously, but in their other matchups, even if you can wipe a couple of them, there's always just one more, cut off one head, out 2 more. It's like the Hydra over and over, and then they can stall, and that's how they ended up winning some domination points. And on that case, dude, just never giving up the very front of that point. And also on the inverse, when they're on offense, they're kind of always there. You got to get rid of all of them at once, and it takes perfect play, Gaskin.
They're fearless and they trust each other. I think that if a team is slightly disconnected and the vanguards are moving a little bit quicker than the strategists, for example, sometimes you get caught out, but it's absolutely not the case for We Lost. They are working in tandem so successfully and have been it's such a joy and a breath of fresh air to watch as well, just to kind of change things up and not play the way that everyone else is, and instead creating their own kind of style that I think other teams are starting to learn as well and develop themselves. And ultimately, that's how a region is always going to get better, by someone doing something a little bit different and pushing those to elevate themselves as well.
I mean, I'll say, especially even if you look at the pick ban phase, right? Like Jitward being him being the lawyer Shib himself. You know, you got the Daredevil bans coming in. That opens up more and more. Then they use saves on the Hulk. They don't really care about what the tape says you should do. They've got their own game plan going in.
Yeah, they weren't worried about Vanguard pool, and I think that is a testament to strength on a team. I think Vanguard pool is in the conversation for the best Vanguard in the game right now, especially what he can do to dismantle a backline, and they're not even stressing over it at all. And then, you know, another thing to call out that I want your guys' take on is Zatex, the main pillar of staying hit scan on a team that just walks forward all the time. You have to have so much talent to be able to keep that role, but then going 39-6 with 17 finals and the most damage on your team, that's just absurd.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was going to highlight a Gaskin because Zatex came from a team called Ego Death last year. Self from 100 Thieves was on that, and they were kind of the first version of this, like this kind of sexy team that is like, you know, bringing the non-traditional stuff. And Zatex kind of already fit into that mold, right? I mean, he was doing some Psylocke and whatnot, but he still was on that team. Now he moves right into this team, which feels like more of the same. Gaskin, I mean, that definitely can lend a hand, if you will, to playing with, you know, new teammates and players in the team altogether.
And I just think having that ability to flex and go from Mantis then into Phoenix on the defensive side as well, and being able to just output that amount of damage, it's so hard to keep up with, especially when you've got Cart doing what Cart was doing and creating the space. It just means that as a Phoenix, you have just so much freedom to deal that damage. It's an incredible feeling as a duelist when you have a Vanguard who creating that space for you. And I think, yeah, we lost just everything you could want in a teammate in every single role.
I mean, Shib, we've got, you know, obviously a great interview coming up. Before we go into that, I want to ask you, I mean, how far can this team go? Because, yeah, you look at MRC and how they did. Guess what, man? They swept the MRC. I mean, it wasn't even a challenge for them. And so I think they easily don't belong into that conversation, really. But we do need to see them against some of these other competitions. And tomorrow, I believe TLC is going to be a perfect way to look at how they stack up against true, you know, solid meta approach.
Yeah, I mean, they guaranteed the spot in the playoffs now, which is huge for them. I will say they're incredibly fun to watch, like you're saying. The thing that we need to say, kind of what you're insinuating, is we need to see them against the top teams, the teams that are able to adjust a lot more to some of this stuff that's maybe considered more gimmicky in the meta, although at this point they maybe have proved it's not a gimmick, right? It's something that's working for them. So, you know, we just want to see what it looks like. So TLC's coming up here soon. That'll be a big test, and we'll definitely look forward to that because they did struggle against SSG.
I mean, Gaskin, I think you could boil it down to communication on both sides. Dive requires a lot of it and perfection at it, but then to counter that, it takes even more so, right? Like whenever it is all on top of the team and you're having to respond to that, that's what we see the great teams do. SSG did that yesterday. TLC, I expect them to do all the part as well to handle the quick cart on the point, going crazy, Jitward in the back, you know, throwing people off the map. It takes that kind of grounding, if you will.
Yeah, it's going to be the teams throughout preseason and the season following. It's going to be the teams who are able to adjust in the moment, right? If you're having that mirror match, it's not going so well, how do you counter it? Is mirror not actually the answer? Do you have to flip over to maybe a trip strat to try and take down a dive comp that is just absolutely destroying your backline so you've got a little bit more sustain via your healing? These are the kind of things that are not easy to make a decision in that moment, but through learning and gelling as a team, that's when you're going to be able to find that success.
Well, guys, we've got our interview ready, and it's the man we were just talking about in Zatex, who came from the team of Ego Death into the new team here. That is, yeah, we lost. And let's welcome him into the interview. First of all, hey, congratulations, buddy. It's good to have you here on the Ignite broadcast. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, especially after yesterday's loss. We did not play good, but after today, I feel like we played a lot better. Listen more like ourselves.
For sure. For sure, man. I mean, listen, we've been following you for a while. I remember Shib and I used to talk on the phone after y'all's play of Ego Death. I mean, man, the Zatex guy was a great compliment to self and what y'all used to do back in, you know, last year. And then you look towards this year, this team is not played by the book. You guys are aggressive. You take fights early. Talk to me when this team was founded and, you know, brought together about the identity and the non-traditional approach, and you're used to it.
Yeah, I am. I mean, playing with self, I mean, most of it comes from Jitward, to be honest with you. He's always been very creative with his comps. I mean, like, the reason why Self was on Black Panther originally, like, I mean, yeah, it's his comfort character, but, like, Jitward has been, I don't know, his comps are just insane. But I'm glad I get to play what I like to play, and I think I'm really good at it. So,
Hey,
love
listen,
it.
I heard the air horns on the MRC when you guys were winning, so the comms are crazy over there. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hysterical to listen to. We were talking a bit about how you kind of do that mainstay duelist line, not afraid to pull up the hit scan, but in a comp that is consistently go and leaving you kind of to your own focus. Can you walk me through the mentality, what your focus is being that mainstay duelist that's probably getting a lot of attention?
Yeah, so when I'm playing, I mean, it matters what I'm on. When I'm playing Phoenix, my biggest job is my right click. I feel like, because the right click is so broken, if you're able to hit the right click in the back line, like they get stunned and you just do like tons of damage. They can't even react sometimes, especially if you have another diver with Jitward or even Cart. Like they'll just explode instantly. And I mean, that's just like my job is just to like shoot my gun and hit my shots. That's my main job. So when I'm playing Phoenix, I mean, when I'm even Psylocke, I'll go backline. But like those are my two main characters, and yeah.
Yeah, you did it great, man. So shout out to you for sure.
You did fantastically today, but you said yourself that you struggled yesterday against SSG. Can you pinpoint that? Yeah. Is there any particular reason? Do you feel like SSG kind of read you guys and studied you guys, or was it something you did wrong in your gameplay?
I think it's a mixture of both. We played really bad, and like we just weren't looking like ourselves. Like we VOD reviewed it for like literally like 3 hours yesterday. We definitely just didn't play good, but we didn't expect them to play the Psylocke triple support, and we thought like a lot of our we were just getting forced out permanently, but we weren't able to really dive. And I think we've been in our warm up today before our match. We practiced against it. I think now we have a good understanding of how to beat it, and I mean, yeah. I think that we were caught off guard, but I think now we understand what to do now, and I don't think it's going to happen again.
Well, I'm very excited to see you guys against Liquid tomorrow. I'm sure you'll put on the show for us.
Yes. Yeah, don't worry.
Hey, I mean, listen,
let's just say...
You answered the...
oh,
go ahead.
Sorry. Cooper is one of my... yeah, Cooper, I go to school with him. I think we go to the same high school. Yeah, and... I want to beat him. He's my rival. So hoping to win.
Oh man, I love the backstory there. I'm telling you, this team doesn't have an S on their keyboard. Like you guys are just always just holding forward. And I mean, listen, I got to cast the MRC with you all and just see. I mean, you made my job easy. I was done in like 30 minutes on the grand finals. Usually that can last hours. But I gotta ask, man, like, how far can this team go? Because SSG, we saw, what you went there is. Are you guys looking tomorrow's test as kind of, stretching the limits of, what you guys can do in this tier 1 scene?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I think we're gonna win. Like, I'm pretty confident. I mean, all of them are really experienced players, and compared to our team, like a lot of these guys have never played professional before. Like, I mean, like 3 or 4 of them on our team, like this is like their first ever like big tournament. And compared to the enemy team, like on TLC, have like, I mean, all of their experience. So I think that's definitely got to play a part. But I think, I mean, yeah, it's like, I think we'll do this really good, and I'm excited to play them. I don't know. I think we'll show up. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey man, well listen, I had Jitward as my player of the week for a reason. I think he's so fun to watch. You guys all are fun to watch, Zatex, and we're glad that you came on here taking the interview. Big congrats to the team. Celebrate the win. Get ready for tomorrow. And again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, buddy.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that was Zatex, and dude, I think that was our first time talking to him. I don't remember talking to him last year, Shib, so it was just fun to welcome him in. I think Sombel was usually the one that took those interviews back then, so cool to see him adjusted on. And man, the confidence is off the charts. Yeah, Gaskin?
Amazing confidence, and also great lore behind going to high school with Cooper as well, and the fact that they're going to be walking the school corridors, just eyeing each other up, saying, "I've got you tomorrow, don't worry," that type of thing. Like, amazing. The fact that they're both playing on different teams and from the same school, but I can only imagine. I think back when I was at school, it would just be like, who am I playing basketball against tomorrow, let alone playing Marvel Rivals. So shout out to the high school apparently breeding some incredible Marvel Rivals players.
Yeah, seriously, man. I was like, just proud of my Zanzibar play or something like that at LAN parties. I was as good as it got, not in the pro scene for thousands of dollars. But either way, guys, such a fun matchup. Definitely a fun team to watch. We have way more great matches on the way. Don't go anywhere. Reset, reload. We'll see you right after this quick break.